The Life of John F. Kennedy by Kyra Justice. Early life. Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy and Joseph Kennedy were John F. Kennedy's parents. Joseph Kennedy was a very successful businessman, and he also became a politician. Joe was Jack Jack is John F. Kennedy, and Joe is John F. Kennedy's older brother. Joseph Kennedy, which is JFK's father, gave him the nickname of Jack when he was younger. Jack was a very unhealthy baby. He luckily they were very wealthy and were able to get him the help and medicine that he needed in order to be taken care of and live. But he was very unhealthy, and Joseph thought he was going to die several times. He had a very wealthy upbringing, as I mentioned before. Joseph was a very successful man. Joseph's family was Irish, and they immigrated from Ireland. His great-grandparents did, and they were Catholic. JFK went to Choate boarding school and to Harvard, which is very highly esteemed, and JFK played tennis, basketball, football, and golf. All of this information was found from the Life of John F. Kennedy, Life of John F. Kennedy, jfklibrary.org. Life before presidency. His father became U.S. ambassador in 1937 in England. When his father became the ambassador in England, JFK and his brother Joe were still in college. So they were left in the USA whenever all of his family moved and picked up to England to go live with their father. During his time in England, World War II started. So after the president, or not the president at the time, but JFK and Joe graduated from Harvard, they both entered the military and fought in World War II. Lieutenant Kennedy was assigned in the South Pacific as a commander of a patrol torpedo boat, and he ended up being awarded the Navy and Marine Corps Medal. So he was recognized for his service. Those are some pictures of him while he was in service. Congress. He ended up becoming part of Congress in 1946. His brother ended up passing away. Joe passed away while he was fighting in World War II. And because his brother was so passionate about becoming a politician, John F. Kennedy was not interested in becoming a politician before his brother passed away. But Joe had always said that he wanted to become the first Catholic president of the United States and the youngest. And that's exactly what John F. Kennedy did, because he wanted to live out Joe's legacy for him. Navy and Marine Corps Medal is what he was awarded, as I said before. John F. Kennedy was married and had his first child in 1952. And then afterwards, he kept excelling in his political career. And he served 3 terms, which was 6 years, in the House of Representatives. Then in 1952, he was elected to the U.S. Senate. And then on July 13th, 1960, he became the Democratic Party's representative for President of the United States. John F. Kennedy became the 35th President of the United States. On January 20th, 1961 was his inauguration. Caroline, John, and Jackie moved in with him, Caroline being his daughter, John being his son, and Jackie being his wife. Segregation was a main problem during his presidency. He actually was unpopular with the U.S. citizens because they didn't feel like he handled it well enough. But on June 11th, 1963, he gained some popularity because he passed a bill, and it was very good for stopping discrimination in the U.S. The Cold War was also going on during his presidency, and he was actually respected because of how he handled it with such class. Family. Balancing being a father and the president, many would say that he was the busiest person in the United States at the time, and yet he managed being a father and was known for being a good one. On the other hand, he was also had lots of controversy surrounding his marriage. We will never know. It's a big conspiracy to know if he ever cheated on Jackie or not, possibly with Marilyn Monroe, but they have all passed away since, so nobody will ever know. Caroline Kennedy, John F. Kennedy Jr., Patrick Kennedy, and Arbella Kennedy, was John F. Kennedy and Jackie's children. Patrick Kennedy died when he was 2 days old. So it was a very tragic loss for them. This is John F. Kennedy and Jackie with their children. The president is shot on November 22nd, 1963. The president was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald in Dallas. He went to Dallas just to speak to the people, and they had like a little mini parade for him where he rode around in a convertible, and on the 6th floor of a nearby building, Lee Harvey Oswald shot him. But 2 days later, on November 24th, 1963, a man shot Lee Harvey Oswald. So there's no proof, and they didn't have enough time to investigate Lee Harvey Oswald to find out more information about the shooting. So there's a lot of unanswered questions surrounding it. All this information is found from JFK Library and in jfkinhistory.org. JFK legacy. He had success in the showdown over Cuba and earned a lot of respect from that. JFK was the youngest president of the United States and still is, and he was the first Catholic president of the United States. He was respected around the globe for encouraging peace and supporting less economically developed countries. People really respected him for that, including the U.S. and other countries. There's more security surrounding the president now after his assassination because they didn't want, obviously, what happened to happen to any other president, so nobody's riding around in convertibles anymore. All this information is found from millercenter.org/president/Kennedy/impact and legacy. And there's his statue and the newspaper whenever he was assassinated.